Hello, welcome back, Claudians. Ever wondered how people learn AWS without spending a lot of money and getting confused with so many tools? Like, imagine you are trying to be a DevOps or cloud engineer, but you don't even know where to start. So, today I'm going to walk through something really powerful: free AWS resources that make learning super easy. And trust me, if you use this properly, you can build your skills without spending money. So let's unplug quickly. Okay, let's talk about this. What if I told you AWS gives you playground where you can break things, fix things, and learn like a real cloud engineer? Sounds interesting, right? That's exactly where we start with Free Tier. Now, AWS Free Tier is like your practice lab in cloud. It gives access to AWS resources for 12 months free, or some services are free for lifetime. So you can launch servers, store data, and use database without paying anything. And here's the important part: it's not just watching videos, it's hands-on learning. Like, imagine you are learning driving. Would you just read a book or just sit in a car and drive? Same thing here. You need to practice. For example, you can create simple EC2 instance, which is like your own virtual machine in the cloud, or store images in S3 like real company does. And when you do this, you are starting to think like a real cloud engineer, not just a learner. But wait, what happens if you get stuck and just don't understand what to do next? That's where AWS Skill Builder comes in. Now, this is another amazing free resource. AWS Skill Builder is just like an online classroom which is made by itself. You get structured courses from absolute beginner to advanced, which is topics like networking, DevOps, cloud architecture, like that. And the best part is you learn at your own speed, no pressure. So imagine this. You are learning about cloud storage, and instead of just reading theory, you just watch a short lesson. Then immediately try it in Free Tier. See how powerful that combination is. Learning plus practice together. But let's go deeper. What if you are a student or just don't have confidence yet? Then AWS Educate is something you should not ignore. AWS Educate is specially designed for students and beginners. It gives you free learning path and even sometimes free credits and guided labs. So it's like having teacher in AWS. For example, you might get a path like Cloud Foundations, where you start from zero. What is cloud? What is computing? And slowly move to AWS resources. And honestly, many AWS beginners just ignore this and jump too fast. But if you follow this properly, you might have a very strong foundation. Now, let's pause for a second. Have you ever tried AWS documentation and ever feel it is too complex? You are not alone. But here's the trick. AWS also gives you official free documentation and even ebooks. And these are very powerful if you know how to use them, because every AWS services like EC2, Lambda, S3 has documentation written by AWS itself. So when you don't understand how to use these, you can follow or refer these documentations. As an example, if you don't understand how to use S3, just read documentation and try it on Free Tier. That's how professionals learn. And now, here is something people often ignore: community resources like forums, blogs, YouTube tutorials, And you might think, why do I need community help? For example, someone on a forum might have solved a error now you are facing. Or YouTube tutorial might be show how to deploy a static website on AWS. So I think we clicked everything. In short, free tier is for practicing, skill builder is for structuring learning, educate is for beginners and students, and documentation for deep understanding. And the community is for real world problem solving. And honestly, if you're combining all these resources, you might not need any expensive AWS courses. But let me ask you something important. Are you just going to watch this video and ignore this? Or are you going to actually try one AWS resource today? Because learning cloud is not just about watching, it's about doing. Even small step is matter, like launching your first EC2 or storing your files in S3. That's how real cloud skills start building. So to wrap it up, AWS gives you everything you need to start learning AWS. Start small, practice daily, break things, fix things, and slowly you will see how you are thinking like a real cloud engineer. Which AWS resource you are going to try first? Comment below.